At this time, we're joined by the head coach of your Texas A&M University Corpus Christi Islander men's basketball team, Coach Willis Wilson, in his pregame interview, all part of our Islander pregame show, afternoon midweek affair today here at the Dugan Wellness Center on the campus of Texas A&M Corpus Christi. The Islanders and the Paul Quinn Tigers getting underway in one of those unique scenarios that's kind of happening around the country this year. One of these back-to-back efforts where we're going to be facing Paul Quinn today as well as tomorrow evening at 5.
Yeah, it's a very unusual situation. You don't find that happening very often in this sport. Sounds like a baseball kind of thing. But, here we are with the pandemic. There's just so many things that are going on that have made this season unusual. This is just one more experience that we can all look back hopefully a year from now and say we did it in a little bit unusual fashion.
Now, there's something that I know that I've the way this is structured, obviously this is pre-recorded, but I know what I said in the beginning of this broadcast for the people that are tuning in. While we're facing Paul Quinn in this back-to-back things, it could be different. Northwestern State's facing Gonzaga in back-to-back days.
Yeah, they've got their hands full. But the thing about these back-to-back games, the mental aspect is such a critical part of it. You got to move on to the next play, and then once this game is over, you got to move on to the next game, and you don't have a lot of time to flip that around. It's one of those things that your maturity is really tested in a back-to-back like this because you have to be ready to play. And watching a little bit of football last night, and you see the Cincinnati Bengals, with 2 wins on the year, beat one of the best teams in football in the Pittsburgh Steelers. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day, and these back-to-back scenarios certainly create those kind of opportunities as much as what we'd see in a normal format.
And also in a normal circumstance, the way scheduling is, in a lot of cases you have opportunity maybe for tournament play or these exempt tournaments that come up during the year where you may have these back-to-backs because in the end, you're hoping to have these back-to-backs when it comes down to your conference tournaments. So this is one of those little preview opportunities for tournament play.
Well, it is. I mean, you got to get yourself ready to play. I mean, that's the bottom line. The different scenario here is that you're playing the same opponent. Wouldn't happen in the postseason, but you're absolutely right. It is an experience that you can draw on later on in the year once you get to conference tournament play.
Well, let's talk a little bit about last time out the team faced Our Lady of the Lake. Our Lady of the Lake was coming off of the win against Texas State, and I think our guys were mentally prepared for that. They did not take the team lightly in any way, shape, or form, and performed. We saw a number of career highs. We saw some record-setting performances. I mean, it was just good to see good, sound execution.
Yeah, it really was, and for the most part, we did it for the vast majority of that basketball game. And, we talk about playing for others. When we get away from that ever so slightly, it really changes the dynamic of what we're doing. But when we stick with it, it really can be a thing of beauty. I mean, you saw us get a ton of assists in that basketball game, which is something that this team, because we have so many guys that can put the ball in the hole, it's something that this team should really relish, setting each other up. But it is something that you have to learn how to do. You have to learn how to play through the system. That's really what freedom is all about. Making good choices, playing inside out, being ready when the opportunity comes. When we get away from that, it just doesn't feel near as organic. And one of the things that the players say when we're in that flow, it does feel good. It's a rhythm thing that you find in sports, that once you find that rhythm, boy, things can really roll in your favor.
You're finding that rhythm, but also one thing you're establishing is trust.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's a big deal.
Absolutely, and it's not just trust in each other, but it's also trust in the system. It's also trust in the coaching staff. So that's a key component to what we're trying to build right now.
Well, there's some really good stuff going on right now. Some guys really performing at a high level. Perry Francois, number 1 in the conference in field goal percentage. He's getting great looks in the position he needs to be getting those looks. And also, I think he's maybe be number 15 in the country at 64% from the floor.
Well, he's a guy that's capable of shooting incredibly high percentages. It's something that we really talked about in the offseason coming into this year, what his bread and butter is and learning how to really stick with it. And it goes back to the word you just used. It's a trust thing. Perry's begun to trust in the system even more and more, and the results for him have been extremely good.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. We saw some good performance the other night. Hopefully we see it again today and tomorrow. Once again, the Paul Quinn Tigers here at the Dugan Wellness Center on campus. 2 o'clock start today here on this Tuesday. Wednesday evening, 5 o'clock. The Islanders and the Tigers will go once again. Coach, best of luck in this back-to-back.
Thank you very much.
Willis Wilson joining us once again in his pregame interview. Stay with us, more to come. Islander basketball continues on the Islanders Digital Network, powered by AP Texas.